What's up everyone, I am Dan and thanks to You and I Entertainment for the review code for Ghostmaster Resurrection on the Nintendo Switch systems. There's something immediately nostalgic about Ghostmaster Resurrection. From the moment you step into the haunted town of Gravenville, the game leans heavily into a charming, almost campy horror aesthetic that feels ripped straight out of 90s television. Think Are You Afraid of the Dark meets Goosebumps wrapped in a supernatural strategy game. It's a strong hook, but unfortunately that initial intrigue slowly gives way to frustration, confusion, and a lingering sense of missed potential. Visually, the game keeps things simple, but deliberately so. The environments, character models, and effects all carry a stylized, slightly dated look that evokes classic PC titles from decades ago. Rather than feeling outdated, it mostly feels intentional, like a tribute to its origins. Locations such as area asylums, military compounds, frat houses, and police stations all bring their own flavour, and across the 11 reimagined levels included in the core edition, along with 2 additional DLC packs, there's a decent amount of variety to explore. Art direction doesn't try to compete with modern realism, instead focusing on atmosphere and tone, and that's one of the game's strongest aspects. That tone is reinforced by the voice work, which adds a lot of personality. The narration and character reactions lean into that slightly cheesy horror vibe, and it genuinely enhances the experience. There's a playful edge to the way the game presents its scares, making it feel more like a supernatural puzzle box than a straight horror title. It's one of the few areas where the game consistently succeeds. Ghostmaster Resurrection is about strategy and manipulation. You command a roster of ghosts, banshees, gremlins, and other supernatural entities, each with unique abilities and affinities. The goal is simple: haunt locations, build up fear, and ultimately scare away the human occupants. There's a satisfying idea at play here, starting small with minor disturbances, then escalating into full-blown paranormal chaos as your power grows. Each ghost has specific placement requirements and abilities that cost resources, so there's a layer of planning involved. You need to think about where to position your spirits, when to use their powers, and how to chain together scares for maximum effect. In theory, it's a compelling gameplay loop that blends tactics, puzzle solving, and resource management. The problem is that the game does a poor job of actually teaching you how to engage with any of this. One of the biggest issues with Ghostmaster Resurrection is its lack of clear guidance. Tutorials are either minimal or poorly explained, leaving you to figure out basic mechanics through trial and error. I spent most of my first hour playing not knowing what I was supposed to be doing or why something wasn't working. This confusion made worse by the controls. Originally designed for mouse and keyboard, the transition to controller feels clunky and unintuitive. Button mappings are awkward, and navigating menus or managing your ghosts can quickly become frustrating. Even once you start to understand the systems, the experience doesn't fully click into place. There are moments where the game's potential shines through. When you successfully orchestrate a chain of scares and watch the chaos unfold, it can be genuinely satisfying, but those moments are often buried beneath layers of friction. The effort required to reach that point feels disproportionately high compared to the payoff. That's perhaps the biggest disappointment here. There's good ideas at heart of Ghostmaster. The concept of commanding a supernatural army, the puzzle-like structure of each level, and the gradual escalation of fear all have merit. With better tutorials, smoother controls, and a bit more polish, this could have been a great game. Instead, it struggles to maintain engagement. Even after getting a handle on the mechanics, I found it difficult to stay invested. The gameplay loop, while interesting in theory, doesn't evolve enough to keep things fresh over time. Combined with the initial learning curve and control frustrations, it becomes hard to justify sticking with it. The price doesn't help matters either. For a game that feels this rough around the edges, the cost comes as a surprise and not a pleasant one. There's a sense that more effort could have been put into modernizing the experience, especially given that this is essentially a re-release of an older title. Without those improvements, it's difficult to recommend at its current price point. In the end, Ghostmaster Resurrection is a game caught between eras. It captures the spirit and charm of its original release, complete with its quirky horror vibe and strategic ambitions, but it also brings forward many of the issues that modern players have little patience for: unclear systems, clunky controls, and a lack of accessibility. For those who have fond memories of the original, or who are willing to push through its rough edges, there's something here to appreciate, but for most players, the barrier to entry is simply too high. It's a haunting experience, just not always in the way it was intended. Ghostmaster Resurrection is out now on the Nintendo eShop, priced at $22.49 in the UK. Big thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the review. Don't forget to hit that like button, and until next time.
A sweet little old lady used to dwell within these walls, but her mind was fading and her sanity fleeting. She loved receiving visitors and hated to see them go. So she administered arsenic in their tea and made certain they would stay a while. Stay forever! The house itself has become unsettled by these events, and although it is not truly sentient, we still have a duty to protect the interests of the unseen world. Let the events that have until now been hidden become known to the mortals. Reveal the corpses to them, and your goal shall be fulfilled. But beware, for one cadaver may not suffice to convince the skeptical police that something sinister is afoot. Reveal the hidden corpses to the mortals.